"What have you done?" I asked him. I wiped my hand on my pant leg. He looked very pleased with himself. "Your family needs something to bury," he answered and clasped my arm. "Now come along. We have a long journey ahead of us." I wrenched my arm from his grasp and put my hands on my hips like my mom does sometimes when she and Dad argue. Welcome back, besties. I hope you are enjoying this story. I truly enjoy bringing them to you. So please like, share, and tell a friend, and while you're at it, subscribe. Now let's get back to the story. "I'm not going anywhere with you. I want to stay here with my family," I told him. "That is not possible. You are dead," he said, as if that cleared everything up. "No, duh. What did you do to me? Am I a ghost?" He sighed. "I called your essence back into your body, but for all intents and purposes, you are still dead, not a ghost. Can I still float and go through stuff? Are you a reaper or something?" "No, I am not a reaper. You and I are the same. I was sent here to reclaim you and take you to the elders." "I don't understand. If you aren't a reaper, then are you an angel?" I asked, hoping that he was. "Look, we are wasting time. Let me take you to the elders, and they'll answer all your questions," he said impatiently. I allowed him to take my arm again. I decided that he wasn't an angel. He didn't act like one, and he didn't act like the other one either. At the hint of a horn coming out of his head, I'm ditching him and taking my chances of being whatever I am alone. He kept looking at the little device in his hand and checking his surroundings. His hand was gentle afterwards, and he led me through the double doors and out of the morgue. When we got to the elevator bank, he tightened his hold on me, and we floated up through concrete and metal. We accelerated until we got to the lobby. He pocketed the device and nodded to himself. The sky was just turning pink when we got outside. He pointed up, and I saw a spacecraft. It was a two-seater like on that cartoon show, The Jetsons. It was hovering just above the hospital. We floated up to it, and we sat. As soon as we were seated, the lid came down, and then it began to move. I sat there fascinated as the craft streamed through what looked like strings of different colors. Some were thick, and some were thin. I wondered if we were in outer space, but I didn't see any planets or any kind of heavenly body. I wondered again about where we were going. The craft shook and jostled, and I held on tightly to the armrests. After what seemed like an eternity, the craft slowed down, and then it stopped altogether. We disembarked, and then he led me through a door and into a room. I couldn't make out where we were because it was like stepping into a clean room for a super important experiment, all dazzling and white. I felt dizzy and nauseous. I turned to him and swallowed hard. "You haven't told me your name." "I am Jahael. Now come along, Brightblade." I nodded and allowed him to take my arm again. I felt less nauseous now, and I walked with him through a door that magically opened. I started to worry again. If Jahael was an angel and he came for me, did that mean that I was going to be judged or something? Jahael looked like he was probably in his 20s. His face was smooth, not a hair in sight. His eyes were the lightest brown, and his nose was so straight it could cut you. He wore his blonde hair in a low ponytail under his cape, and he was lean. We walked through several corridors to finally come to a huge room. It was so big that the soft-colored furniture looked like doll furniture in its center. He motioned for me to sit, so I did. The couch I sat in felt so nice that I wanted to sink my body deeper into it, close my eyes, and go to sleep. Everything in the room was soft and inviting. There were no pictures on the walls. Instead, there were shelves built into them, and as far as the eye could see were books. The ceiling was very high. If I were to guess, I'd say that the books numbered in the hundreds of thousands. A sound alerted me that I wasn't alone anymore. An older man walked in. He was dressed in almost the same getup as me, except his was gold-colored. I watched him as he walked into the room to sit at the desk on the far side of the room. He sat and looked at me. "Fiona Brightblade?" he asked. I stood up and nodded at him. "Yes, sir. I'm Fiona Brightblade." "I understand that you have some questions." "Yes, sir, I do. I'm not sure where I am. In fact, I don't know where here is. If this is heaven's judgment, will I have a chance to plead my case?" "My dear, this is not heaven. You're here because you are a descendant of a race of beings that once took refuge on Earth. We are tasked with removing you from the Earth when you die." I sat down because my knees had suddenly gone weak. "So this isn't Earth?" "No, it is not. We are on a planet that's parallel to Earth. It is called Anthora too. I've never heard of it, I admitted. Earthlings have much to learn about the universe, my dear. Our planet sits side by side to it, almost occupying the same space but different dimensions. It is similar to it, except for our special abilities. Anthorans are solid on it, but when we travel to other planets, we are like ghosts, invisible to others but ourselves. Okay, let me see if I've got it straight. You say that I am a descendant of Anthorans. Does that mean that my family on Earth are as well? The genes we pass along don't always flow to every generations. Your parents are not Anthorans, neither is your sister. Your brother, however, is very much Anthoran as you, because we detected his essence signature along with yours. What makes Junior and me Anthoran? We have the same parents. How is that possible? Your father's parents were Brightblades? He asked. Yes, as far as I know. To answer your question, one of your father's ancestors was Anthoran. It is very rare that we get two in the same family. Can I ask you some questions? I asked. That is why I'm here, dear. I will try to answer all of your questions. Good, because I am confused. Will I be able to go see my brother soon? I kind of left him abruptly. We were talking because he could see me and then suddenly, whoosh! I'm back at the morgue and Yahael is replacing my body with a pod person. If we are on another planet, why aren't we speaking another language? Why didn't I feel different when I was on Earth? What is your name? I rapid-fired at him. You may call me Bohum. He smiled at me. He looked to be in his 70s. His eyes were a crisp blue, and his hair was nearly white, and his smile was gentle. We don't recommend going back and forth to Earth, but we might make an exception because of your brother. We are speaking another language, and since you are no longer on Earth, your Azel speech has returned. That is how Jahael and you were able to understand each other. He doesn't speak any of the Earth's tongues. You were different on Earth. You just didn't realize it since it seemed natural. I shook my head and sat on the edge of my seat, as if that made things clearer. How was I different? You were smarter, stronger. You rarely got sick, and if in a fight, you defended yourself quite well, he explained. Okay, I did really well in school. I didn't have to study much. Junior is smart too. I don't remember the last time I got sick, but you are wrong about me defending myself. As you can see, I died. I overheard my family saying that I was attacked. I don't remember the attack. That is why you are here, Fiona. Your death was not natural. Your body was brutalized excessively. We usually come for Anthorans after they die of old age or an accident. You were murdered. There will be an investigation to determine why and who did it. I was murdered? Is that why I can't remember the attack? If my death is suspicious, does that mean that my brother is in danger as well? We don't know for sure. Everything will be made clear once the investigation is complete. How can I help protect my brother? I asked. I was afraid for Junior. That is not up to me, dear. You must take that up with the Council of Elders. Only they can make that decision. My path is understanding diverse cultures. I'm sure that as soon as you have acclimated to our world, you will get your answers. Now, if you have no more questions, I will take you to your room to rest. Dimension travel is hard on the body. Boehm stood up and beckoned me to follow him. I met him at the door and followed him through several more corridors until we came to a final door. When he opened it, I finally believed that I was no longer on Earth. He turned to me when I just stopped walking. He smiled encouragingly at me. I assure you that the bridge is completely safe. I took a deep breath and stepped out onto the bridge. It was encased in glass, and to my surprise, when I stepped on it, the floor moved, just like at the airport. I wondered briefly how long it would take to walk all the way across. We were headed toward what looked like a city, but it was far. I looked behind me and all I saw was the doorknob. Amazing! I faced forward again, and the city was getting closer. I looked down and I could see a body of water and what can only be ships and boats. The sky was blue, thank goodness. After what felt like an hour, we reached the other side. The air tasted funny, but I didn't say anything. I was breathing okay, and that was more important. The streets were very clean, and the cars were high-tech. They had no tires and glided on cushions of air. The buildings were tall and made of what looked like glass, but I couldn't see through them. As we walked, we passed others on the sidewalk. They openly stared at me. I guess they knew I was a new arrival. After several blocks, Boehm turned toward a building. I looked up to see if there were any markings on it so that I could remember it if I went out. There was only a symbol that I almost recognized. Inside, it was quiet. Boehm led me to a door with another symbol on it that I was positive meant the number 9. He opened the door and I stood there speechless. I was expecting something spectacular, but there was my room, just like the one back on Earth. I rushed in to inspect everything. "Did you duplicate my room from Earth?" I asked him. Most of our reclaimed populace find it comforting to have some of the things they were familiar with from their former lives, he answered. I hurried to the closet to find my Uggs just where I'd left them. I wanted to laugh at the absurdity of it all, but I cried instead. "Thank you," I said lamely. "Once you're rested, someone will come for you," Boehm said and left. I explored and found I had an attached bathroom. They thought of everything. Suddenly, I felt very tired and I quickly showered and changed into my own clothes. I fell into a dreamless sleep. How are you enjoying the story so far? Honestly, I feel that something is wrong. I mean, she walks into a room that looks exactly like the one she left behind. And her Uggs, too? Come back soon to see what else is in this strange world. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.